Alright everyone, so I just filmed my 35 video, which you can see, maybe I'll put a link in the description or something, unboxing, giving my thoughts on that. So I just want to do a quick video. I said that last time and it was like super long. Just about going to an all prime setup. So I'm, like I said in my other videos, this person who spends all this time thinking and trying to make good decisions, digging through the internet to try and sift through other people's input of information, which is very beneficial to try and pick out what I care about. Like I said in my 35 video, I'm not the kind of person who cares about shooting charts. I'm not the kind of person who is stopping this lenses down. I basically want them as wide as they can possibly go, and then usually maybe a little wiser with a little Brenizer or something. So basically I want to do a video about going all primes. As of today at like noon, I am an all prime shooter. I have the Sigma 35 Art, the filming with the Nikon 50-1.4G. A couple weeks ago I got the Nikon 85-1.4G, and then I had the Nikon 105 Macro 2.8, slowest lens now, which is awesome. And eventually I will be replacing my 50, which is on the camera, with the Nikon 58-1.4G because that lens is gorgeous. So again, I want to start off by just kind of talking about some of my views on lenses and whatnot, and photography as a whole. And just maybe go a step deeper. If you're watching this video, you definitely care about what I have to say, because it's probably not going to be that short. To me, so the first Nikon Pro lens I got while I was still shooting a D7000 crop sensor, after getting like the 35-1.8, which is kind of like your crop 50, I got the 24-70, the latest version before the VR that just came out. That lens, the 24-70 from Nikon, is a crazy sharp lens. It's awesome. There's nothing wrong with it. It is built like a tank. I mean, I took it backpacking out west. I've shot it at basically everything I've ever done in the past few years. It's never not been with me up until maybe on some shoots like last summer and last fall. And just kind of in exploring what it is that I actually want in photography, which I think it's so easy to get caught up in just gear and figuring out what's next and running your business and yada yada yada. But I think it's so important to take some time out, set aside some time, and figure out what do you even want. Like, what makes you want to take pictures? And for me, I'm a huge gear person, so I'm sitting here thinking, like, I have all this nice stuff. I have a 24-70, which there's tons of people that like covet that lens, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, I don't even want this. Like, I guess, like, it's awesome and it's been super useful, but it's not that I don't want it, it's just not my thing, is what I'm trying to say. So for me, if that sounds like you, or if you think you might be there someday, or you're there now, hopefully this video will help you. So I decided to go through to an all prime setup. I actually still need to make the video, but I returned the Nikon 70-200, the VR2 fancy schmancy, and got this 85 because I tried it out for a little while around the house, and I wasn't inspired with the lens. It's huge. It's incredibly sharp. It's super fast autofocus, but it weighs like a ton. And I am not a small person. I'm 6'5" about. I weigh like 280 pounds. So it's not like, heavy things aren't the end of the world to me. But when you're shooting a wedding all day, or you're doing a portrait shoot for an hour or whatever, these things matter. To me, I guess I got to this point, I call it like my artistic come to Jesus, where I realized I didn't even want to use that lens because it was not, to me, it wasn't inspiring. It was cumbersome. It was just something that didn't sound fun. It was so practical that it didn't inspire me, if that makes any kind of sense. Hopefully it's making sense to somebody. But so now I'm kind of in my all prime setup, and obviously again there's one on the camera. It takes a little leap of faith, and I think it's going to be great though. So the biggest thing obviously with primes, people used to say, primes are going to be sharper at any given point. And while there's still some truth to that, like modern zooms are not like slouches, so it's not like you're going to see like a colossal difference between like an 85 on the 70-200 and this 85. I think that at 2.8 this will probably be a hair sharper, but it's not going to be like, oh my gosh, I could never even fathom like going with a zoom. It looks so awful. I mean, the 70-200, the 24-70, all those standard professional zooms from Nikon and Canon are incredible lenses. They just, to me, don't have the vibe that primes give, and a lot of that is being able to shoot at 1.4 on these two. That one, obviously this guy's a little bit different, but just being, I'm a wide open shooter, so I like the aesthetic of shooting at preferably wider than 2.8 all the time. I'm always opening up the lens as much as possible. I just like that look, and some people might disagree with me. I mean, I'm the kind of person that might shoot a landscape on an 85 at 1.4 or a 35 at 1.4 or whatever. It's just how I am. So I like the look. Some people are like, crank it down to f22. Let me see all the sensor dust. I don't know if you can see my cat in the picture. But she's right there. I don't know, there's people like that, and there's times where that's good, and there's times where you can do that kind of thing, but to me, that's not what I go for. Hey, Thomas, what's going on? Yeah? So, I guess that's kind of like my basic thoughts. The really short version is, I don't feel inspired with zooms. Now, that being said, I still see myself getting a zoom in the future. I think there's times where I need the extra reach, and, unless I'm going to get, like, the 200 f2, which is $6,000 or whatever, it's going to be a while. So, there's definitely some value in having a zoom for those times when you need to get a little farther than what your feet can do. But I think with the 4 primes that I have, obviously the 3 here, 50 on the camera, I think I got basically everything covered between two shooters. Again, this 105 lets you get in a little closer. A lot of the people I really look up to will shoot with the 85 as their longest. So, I mean, I think it's okay. I will say I can't wait for Nikon to come out with a 135. I think they have a patent on a 1.8, but even a 2G model, a f2G model would be fantastic, and I would buy one as soon as I could save up for it. That's the one Canon prime that I think a lot of Nikon shooters covet. So, kind of rambling here, but kind of what I was saying, obviously, I like primes. I think you need to really evaluate what is important to you. Do you need versatility at the sacrifice of, 2 full stops of light? So basically, to me, the versatility did not grant me inspiration. It felt like, it felt more just like, I don't know, like I was being limited even though I had the versatility of a zoom. Shout out to Chris Scuffins, who I've never met or talked to, really, other than a YouTube comment. He kind of he said it best. He said he feels limited more by the max aperture of a lens than kind of the focal length. And I guess I definitely identify with that, and just that I'm always wanting to shoot wide open because I like the dreamy aesthetic that I get. I'm not, shooting in a certain way that I need like max sharpness over just like the feel of a moment at say a wedding. So to me that's what's most important, and that's why I went to primes. It's for the look, it's for the extra stops of light, it's for the lightness of each lens versus a zoom. And again, shooting something like this is like, it's so small compared to a 70-200 that like you don't feel like you have to like limit yourself. Again, like I said, I'm a big guy. You wouldn't think that's a big deal, but it is. Like, why would you bring more weight than you need? Like, you can be more flexible when you don't feel like you're thinking about carrying stuff. So I know I've rambled. It looks like I got a solid amount of time in here, but I don't know. It just, to me, it's just, to me, primes are the answer for the problems that I have. If you are a zoom person, props to you. I think there are so many applications that you can't live without a zoom. There are, like, a 70-200 is almost indispensable in a lot of cases. But for me, I don't think I'm at the point where it's like necessary. And I think when I do get one, honestly, having had the 70-200, the VR2 model, and returning it for the 85, I've read a lot of stuff that just kind of leans more towards like there are some advantages to getting the VR1 model. I think I just told someone in some group, excuse me, online that basically like the 70-200 Nikon, the newer model, you can focus closer than the older model, but it contracts the elements in the lens, which changes your effective focal length when focusing. It's kind of be thought of like cinematic focus breathing, where when it's focusing closer, the lens contracts and you're actually looking at something like a 160 mil or 170 mil or whatever it is at less than 30 feet. Less than 30 feet away, your lens loses like a quarter of its zoom capabilities, which to me is kind of defeating. To me, I could see where the versatility is needed if you're like a photojournalist or whatnot, but it's just not for me, I guess. I mean, it's super fast. I guess I would wait to see, for me personally, if I excuse me, weren't to get the VR1 model before they updated the 70-200, I would wait to see what the VR3 is. For those times when you do need the extra reach. For me, I think back, like, what weddings or what events did was I really hurting for something longer than a 105? And it's like, well, not really any of them. Like, there's usually a way you can work around it, and it wholly depends on what your client base is and everything, but just things to think about maybe when considering what lenses to get. I think if you're starting out, there's still really a lot of value in getting a zoom like I did. The 24-70 I think is, again, it's indispensable when it's your only like high-level lens, unless you have a ton of money to just spill into some primes. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's a great lens. You get on a crop body, which a lot of people come from. You're kind of looking at like on a Nikon, it'd be like a 36 to 105, I guess. So it's a great, I mean, you're looking at this right here, 35 to 105. That's awesome, but for me, I like my primes over my zooms. I'm rambling, but I just wanted to get some of the stuff out of my brain and get it out there. Hopefully it helps someone else. If there's any questions you had on this, there's that comment section below. Feel free to ask me. I love talking about gear. I love making recommendations and maybe helping you out if there's one of these lenses that you don't know about, you wanted to know something. Shoot me a question in the comments or message me somewhere. You can hit me up on Twitter at Mr. Ben Law or at Ben Law Photography. Same with Instagram. Yeah, just let me know what you got questions on. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day. Bye.